Angry guy here. And today we're discussing why women are furious men live such lonely and boring lives. Let's go ahead and jump right into this article because it's quite intriguing. It's funny how women are now complaining about this. Shout out shout out to the chat, shout out to the chat. So, this article is titled I am a trans man. I didn't realize how broken men are. I like this comment from Mr. Shadow Monk. He says, "It's my body by choice, right?" So F off. I feel you on that one, brother. Let me go ahead and jump into this article because I think you guys are going to really find this absolutely intriguing. How modern day women are complaining about everything. I'm a trans man. I didn't realize how broken men are. Robin Williams, illustrated as a giant blue genie, had just finished signing, had just finished singing to Aladdin about how he had never had a friend like him. I observed intently, desperate to find a genie who could make me look like the boy I was on the inside. This was one of my first memories of realizing I was transgender. I was a, I was 8 years old in the 1990s, and this is written by James Barnes, a transgender man. As I grew, my life showed cracks in my identity. I had three sisters, and it was painfully evident that one of us was not like the others. When I came out to my mom, she went through her old journals and found one from when I was three. She wrote in it how I seemed to hate being a girl. My life constantly felt like a puzzle that was missing too many pieces. Let's continue. When I enthusiastically started to the transition process at 26 years old, I thought I had prepared for all the significant side effects: acne, sweating, having an enormous appetite, and everything else that comes with from testosterone. The one thing I didn't prepare for was how lonely it is to be a man. And guys, what's so intriguing about this is that here, this person is blaming men for the loneliness that they are feeling being a man. It has nothing to do with the way women treat men in society. It has everything to do with the fact that men are not able to build strong bonds and relationships like women. And because of this, now that they've transitioned to becoming a man, they've lost many of their old friends, most of their old friends. They're having trouble making new ones, and they blame masculinity for it. This is absolutely this is guys, this is why men are walking away entirely from society. From childhood to adulthood, I had a combination of friendships with men and women. I was able to talk to anyone without reservation. I had a community of people I could call at any moment, and society felt warm to me too. So think about that very carefully. At the experience of a woman from childhood to adulthood is easy mode. All right, all right. Women live these warm lives. People are very warm to them, kind to them, empathetic to them, both men and women, which is actually very opposite to the narrative that we hear on the news and in the media. I thought the world was open to interaction with most people as long as you were kind. As men, we know better than that because we've been taught the hard way. Then I started my transition. It wasn't until my voice dropped and my face changed that I felt the wave of my masculinity. First, my friendships became more distant. A few friends faded away because they judged my transition, and many women didn't know how to talk to a guy about our regularly discussed topics. Men started treating me like their guy friends, which was exactly what I wanted. What I didn't know is that male friendships aren't as deep. Let me explain this carefully to you guys about women. Women have a lot of friends, but they have very few close friends, people that they can call like, they can call a sister that they can really trust, that will actually be there for them through thick and thin, that they can say, hey, I need a place to sleep. Can can I crash at your place? Or I'm broke. Can you spot me a couple $100? Or I'm in the hospital. Will you be there for me? Women don't have a lot of those friends. What they do have is a lot of friends that they can hang out with and go grab drinks. They go into the bathroom together and start immediately talking crap. This is the fun life that they live. They can immediately bond with other women and begin having fun and doing nonsense and going out and doing all of this other stuff, right? Men, on the other hand, we know better. We know that relationships are fickle. There's a certain thing about being a man. Even though many of us are still struggling with learning how to act like a man, because there's a certain way that you do it. Women don't comprehend that there's a certain way that there's certain man behavior. All right, let's continue. Men struggle. Men started treating me like their guy friends, which is exactly what I wanted. What I didn't know is that male friendships aren't as deep. Before my transition, guys used to open up to me about all sorts of fears, frustrations, and feelings. Now they would keep it superficial. Not exactly. What it is that most guys know that no one can actually help them. Like, it's your problem, you're going to have to fix it. And if you're talking to another dude might just correct you, like, listen, dude, you know that this is a problem you're going to have to fix on your own, right? You know that someone can't be and you should never, and this is another thing that men know, you should never talk about your problems to women. And a lot of men make that mistake. So she's thinking that, oh, this is the norm. No, it's not. Most men know they're not supposed to talk about their problems with women. They're not supposed to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you talk with a man and he has any shred of masculinity, he's going to correct you and say, listen, dude, only you can solve your problems. All right. And you damn well know this already. And you shouldn't be running around talking about your issues with women either. All right. Cut that crap out. And this is the honest to goodness truth. This is the honest to goodness truth. All right. Truth is, men know that other men don't want to hear about their problems either. I have my own problems. You have your own problems. Listen, I got to deal with my stuff. You've got to deal with your stuff, and we've basically got to figure it out. There are resources out there to learn how to deal with things, but that's about it. That's what it means to be a man, to deal with your own crap. It's hard and it's difficult. The problem is that women live life on easy mode, so they're always having someone to bail them out of every bad decision that they make. Every bad decision made by a woman has a bailout. Okay? Every bad decision, even the worst things they do in society, they still get special privileges, while men get special punishments. Let's continue. The most depleting were new friendships. It was near impossible with women, especially being married and men. And I realized that it would take years to build a semi-deep relationship. Oh, before transitioning, I didn't receive short pat hugs or handshakes. I got deep, long hugs. I didn't get quick answers about life. I got hour-long conversations. When traveling or running errands, and I saw a parent dealing with an exhausted kid, I could help and not be stared at like a creep. And this person, James, is blaming men for this. They're blaming men, blaming us for the way that society views us, the way that society treats us, and the fact that we don't have close relationships with men and women, and that women don't want to bond with us and get into deep relationships with us the way they get into with their girlfriends. And guys don't do that with guys either. Oh my gosh, look at those nails. Girl. Oh, let me correct. Boy, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, did you get a wax? Did you get it waxed? Oh gosh, you did. Girl, did you? Boy, did you see that? Did you see her? Oh my goodness. She's gained weight. She's gained weight, hasn't guys, men don't do this. It's a horrible way of doing things. It's terrible. Who talks like that? Girls, women do. It's so sad. It's so sad. Okay? Because we don't sit around like a group of girls running talking about our emotions. Here's the thing. We are when men are hanging out with other men also, we're all going through crap. The last thing we want to do is sit there and just be miserable. All right, dude, let's play some video games. Let's do something. You know, what's going on in your life? Nothing you can fix, dude, unless you know so and so. You know? That's really it. That's really it. If I'm gonna hang out with my buddies, I don't want to sit there and talk about all the miserable crap that's going on in my life. Let's play video games or go fishing and clear our heads, you know, or smoke cigars. And there, you know, there's a certain way that you carry yourself as a man. And it's unfortunate because they're upset that men don't carry themselves more like women. But wait a minute. You were a woman. You carried yourself a certain way as a woman, but you did, it never felt natural to you. Now you're a man and you're living the way men do, and you're being treated the way men are treated, and it doesn't feel natural to you. Like, what the heck? What the heck? And you're blaming men for all of this. Oh gosh. Shout out to Coach Lamont. Shout out to Coach Lamont. And also shout out to Bart Fine. He says women don't know when to be quiet. And I don't disagree. I absolutely don't disagree because they will always find something new to complain about. I mean, let's continue. Let's continue reading this. The way I exited or existed in society was the exact opposite of how I move through it now. And with that comes privilege. I feel safer. I no longer walk around at night clinging to my pepper spray. I've had to train myself to move out of a woman's way before they step aside. Wow. I still get sad at the surprise women have when I move before they do, or the joy they get when complimenting their outfits without making it about their bodies. All of the all of the cliche privileges started happening. And if I wasn't holding myself accountable to prevent them, no one else was going to. Good for you. And yet privilege also came with a cost. While I can take up space in most areas, I don't feel like a welcomed and loved part of the community. I started to see my masculinity as the biggest oxymoron. Frankly, it messes with your brain. Masculinity messes with your brain, simply existing. So all the things that James did as a woman that they're now doing as a man are bad because they're masculine. Because now that they're a man, these actions automatically become masculine. So when women do them, they're not masculine. But when men do it, it's masculine. Just existing as a man makes you masculine, and that's something you have to train yourself out of, or you have to redefine what masculinity is. This is so sad. As a man, you get to feel safe, but you don't get to be a nurturer or nurtured. You can speak up whenever you want, but not about your emotions, fears, or grief. Bro, no one cares. When you're a man, no one cares. No, women don't want to hear about your problems. This is the saddest part that this person doesn't comprehend yet. Women don't want to hear about a man's problems. When they say they want a man to express themselves more and talk about their emotions more, they don't actually want to know what you're feeling. They just want to know if you still care about them. They just want to know if you still care about them. Okay? That's it. It's all about them. If you cry, if you are miserable, if you are going through something, it is an absolute turnoff to a woman. Women like men who constantly display confidence. You know the reason why Chad and Tyrone and Pookie and Ray Ray come across as confident? Because they're scumbags. These are often men who just go through life on easy mode. What do I mean by easy mode? Some of these guys, a lot of these guys are criminals. They're lazy. They live off others. They live off society. They live off the government. They don't really achieve much. They don't really do anything. When you're a Chad, a true Chad, you don't have to have money. An actual Chad doesn't have to be rich. All right? An actual Chad, a woman will pay for a Chad. An actual Chad, oh, listen to me. She's just happy to be in his presence. She will spend money to be in his presence. Doors will open for him just because he's a Chad. And here's the thing, for a lot of guys, no matter how hard you work out, no matter what you do, you will never be a Chad. All right? There are Chads and Brads, but Chad will always be Chad. And people need to wake up to this realization. All right? It's the cold, hard truth. You know? It's the cold, hard truth. Let's keep reading some more of this. You have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, as long as that doesn't involve anything feminine, which turns out to be many incredible things like emotions, intentional parenting, grooming, baking, and so many other activities I've learned are too feminine. First off, some of the best cooks, actually, let me correct myself. The best cooks, the top chefs in the world are men. The top cooks in the world are men. Something like 90 or 95% of the top chefs in the world are men. Very few women become top chefs. Very few. Okay? A lot of women are basically against cooking and cleaning today. All right? So the top cooks in the world are men. You go on YouTube and you'll see guys throwing down, putting down, cooking up all this amazing food because women won't do it anymore. All right. Women have no interest in this type of stuff. Grooming. Men do take care of themselves. All right. The thing is that we don't put on fake up. All right. Most men don't wear fake up, and most women don't like it when most men wear fake up. Most women do not like when men wear fake up. It's true. So what you see is what you get with a man. All right? He has to take care of his body. And outside of shaving, a lot of guys shave everything off, shave their bodies. All right? A lot of guys shave everything. But aside from shaving your body, grooming your hair, and taking a bath and washing yourself clean, wearing clean clothing and presentable clothing, that's really all there is to it for guys. That's all we can really do. We can put on earrings and we can, but again, that's more fashion stuff. But there's a limit for guys. When it comes to, there's a limit. Unless you're like Kanye West, there's a limit for us. Even with Kanye West, there's a limit. There's a limit. And it's really unfortunate. They're miserable that we don't sit around, what grooming. A lot of guys will go to the salon and get their nails cut and their toes cut, and then what? You get a mani and you get a pedi. Then what else is there? I don't know what this person is talking about. Listen to me. I've gone to the salon many times, and I'll get my nails done. I'll get my nails cut. I'll get my toenails cut. All right, and I'll get cleaned up. And a lot of men go in there and do that. But what do you guys want from us? What else is there? What else are you complaining about? Oh, no, what you're upset about is that you can't go to the salon and you can't sit and start talking and making conversation with a woman next to you. And you all can't start having these deep conversations about life and children and relationships and dating and marriage and all that other stuff, right? You can't do that anymore. Emotions, again, no one cares what a man thinks, and men learn that very quickly. Intentional parenting, Men don't sit around crying about their kids and the relationship with their kids, and oh, it's so hard to be a man and to parent, to raise your children. You simply do it. Men can't sit around complaining. Oh gosh. Let's continue though. Let's continue, guys, because it's just annoying. Let's see here. As a trans man, I spent 26 years of my life allowed to feel my feelings, be masculine and feminine, and have deep friendships, which is a blessing and a curse because I knew the depth of life and what it feels like to lose it. But it also means that I have the tools to navigate this loneliness. What I've come to realize is that most men don't. I believe that's why the unalive rate in men is so much higher. I recently saw that men are 4 times more likely to unalive than women. We exist in a world where men are told their worth comes after women and children, and that they cannot be a caretaker or nurturer without losing their masculinity, and that their sadness is not to be talked about. It's as if we're asking men to despise their lives and then become shocked when they are bad when they become bad men. Okay. Before I transitioned, I had little empathy for men. Notice this. Before I transitioned, I had little empathy for men. Uh, don't you notice that's kind of how it is with most women? Nope, don't even notice that. And while I still hold us to a high standard, I now see the brokenness of masculinity, how isolating it is, and how men don't know how to break the cycle. Oh god. Because men need to learn how to be more like women. Guys, this is just so difficult. Women are often handed the Women often are handed the burden of trying to help men with their lack of emotional understanding. And while I don't think that's the solution, I know that isolating men to figure it out on their own won't give us the outcome we all want. A few months ago, I made a post about this topic that went viral. I posted a reel about the loneliness of being a man. Some took the angle that I'm not a man because I cried, furthering the stereotype that men are not afforded the luxury of being truly human and crying. And yet, hundreds of men reached out saying they never had the words to express their loneliness. For me, for me, Thankfully, I took back my masculinity years ago. I defined myself for what being a man means, including rom coms, crying, loving Taylor Swift, and asking men about their hardships and emotions. So now this person is telling us what we are allowed to be as men and defining masculinity for us because as men, we don't know what it means to be a man, and what we're doing is toxic. You've got to love, guys, you've got to love this. You've got to love this. When women talk about who they are and what they like, men just listen. All right. But men, on the other hand, we're criticized for just existing. We're criticized for just who we are. Oh, you don't talk enough. Oh, you don't express your emotions enough. Oh, you're not this, you're not that. Oh, your relationships. Why don't you have more guy friends? Why don't you have more girlfriends? Why don't you have more friends in general? Why don't you show your emotions more? Why don't you dress? Why do you wear the same thing every day? Like, why don't you mix it up? Like, you could wear some pink. Like, why don't you put some like? Why don't you like? Why don't you? It's there's nothing wrong with wearing these bright colors and pastel and oh my gosh. And why haven't you ever tried dyeing your beard? Like, why don't you dye your beard? It would look so great, green or purple. Like, come on, experiment. And why don't guys wear glitter? Oh gosh, my friendships drastically changed when I started leaning into being a whole person again. But it has taken years overcoming my insecurities, that I'm not man enough, realizing the trap is that you'll never be manly enough, just like women will never be feminine enough. Years unpacking the ways I was trained to hate feminine things. Okay. This is a damn long article. It's a damn long article. As a trans man, I empathize and support women in ways most men mostly don't. And as a professional speaker, I've learned communication skills that help me connect with others. I'm working to empower other men with these tools because this lack of emotional understanding, communication, and femininity leads to dangerous men and angry men. Guys, lack of femininity. So men, it's a lack of femininity that men have that's causing them problems. So men need to be taught femininity. Holy cow. The problem with men, and this is what they're saying, all right, is that men need to learn how to be feminine. It's the problem. Masculinity, all right, is an issue. All right. The kinds of masculinity that men express is a problem, and men have to be taught femininity, all right? Because without it, it makes them dangerous to society. A man that is not feminine is a danger to himself, to others, and to society. Think about what they're putting out there. This is beyond unreasonable. But you know what, guys? This is why men are walking away from Western society, Western women, and choosing not to have relationships, marry, date, and just walking away entirely, going overseas, starting new lives with Filipino wives, are not with anyone at all, and just checking out. This is why men are just checking out. If I could advise men, it would be to first look inward before teaching men how to be better men. This is amazing. This is amazing. Teaching men who've been men their entire lives how to be better men. This is amazing. This is just special. Before reaching out to women for support, understand that this is about your friendship with yourself and how you accept your emotions, fears, and femininity. And femininity, oh my gosh. Whether you journal, go to therapy, or work through it mentally, find a way to be safe in your skin as a whole person, a person who cries, feels joy, and can embrace all aspects of themselves. Read books on healing your emotions, find ways to communicate your needs, and understand your feelings. It's guys. It's like you don't even want to be bothered to explain that these are just things that men are not wired for. Our brains are wired differently. The reason that society does not support us, accept us for who we are, and work to nurture our unique traits and skills. Why we're like this? We're basically seen as disposable. We're basically seen as disposable. We're just utilities. We're ATMs, and women just only want our attention, time, and our money. I cannot stress enough how important it is to learn how to communicate effectively. Communication is one of the greatest gifts society gives women. The allowance to talk to their friends for hours about life's highs and lows, tell stories full of vulnerability and cry, and held by your friends. I've seen the world through many lenses, and the most profound moments have been with people who fully see and love me, that take vulnerability and trust. Focus your time on learning how to be vulnerable, but build intentional and meaningful friendships, and heal your relationship with what it means to be feminine. Heal your relationship with what it means to be feminine. So you need to embrace your femininity, and you need to work towards being the best version of a woman that you can be as a man. This is a very right. Lastly, for those who are not men, while it is not your responsibility to heal men, I ask you to stretch your idea of masculinity. Hundreds of men reached out to me saying that they try to cry in front of the women in their lives or try to be nurturing, and they remind them to man up, or that it makes them uncomfortable. This person is in complete and utter denial. Complete and utter denial. Even when they see how men are treated in society and why men behave the way they do, they say that it's still because men are not feminine enough, and men need to work to embrace their feminine. Oh boy. These moments have unimaginable ripple effects. We cannot have a world of healthy, kind, and strong men if we stick to broken stereotypes. I learned as a kid that no genie will magically come along. A less dangerous, and aggressive world is possible. And it starts with emotionally healthy men. James Barnes is a professional corporate speaker and stress management coach. James is a proud father of two incredible kids and married to his best friend Courtney. All views expressed in this article are the author's own. Wow. Oh boy. Mr. Shadow Monk Travel says, why don't women just leave us alone? Because they will enjoy to watch us suffer. Of course. Come on. You know that. You know that. They can't leave us alone. You know, bro, you already know how it works. If you believe in the Bible, regardless if you do or you don't, there's a great analogy in there that God, when God created Adam and Eve, He put Eve here to test man, and when men failed the test, He left them here to punish us. They are punishment. They are punishment. Guys, you have to wake up and realize this is no wonder men are walking away from society and done with it. You know, look at women are furious men live such lonely and boring lives, and then they blame men for it. It's like, and then they say, oh, well, you need to embrace your femininity and be more like women, because that's the big problem with masculinity. It's not feminine enough. Right. You have a person who lived most of their life as a woman, then transitions to a man, and now spends their time teaching men how to be better men. I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Delek says, how to be better men. Demand top dollar on your repair bill to feminist customers. Guys, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Men are going to, it's not going to just be feminist customers. It's going to be women in general, as men are walking away from society. All right. These men are going to start. I told y'all it's going to become crazy. It's going to become crazy. Some chick needs her roof fixed because women are buying homes at rapidly faster rates than men. And here's what's really going to happen. She needs her roof fixed. All right. She calls for the roofer. Roofer comes over. Roofer only works. Check this out. Roofer only works 4 to 6 months out of the year. 4 to 6 months, maybe even only 3 months. She says, how much for my roof to be repaired? He says $30,000. She says, she starts to curse. He says, listen, ma'am, if this is your behavior, I have other appointments. She says, how can you charge someone something like this? He says, that's just how much it is. Right? She says, well, I'm not paying it. He says, all right, well, you have a great day. And she's cursing at him as he's leaving, as he's driving off. She calls another roofer. The other roofer comes over, checks out the roof. She asks him how much. He says $45,000. She goes absolutely ballistic. All right? So he leaves. She rinses and repeats. Calls over another roofer. All right? And again, these guys, and it takes this guy ages to come over because he was backlogged, he says, and all this other crap, but he finally makes it out. She asks him how much. He says $5,000. She goes, okay, finally. These other guys are such crooks. You know what I went through? Yeah, I know exactly. I've got you. All right? So she says, what do you need? Okay, well, I need this material, so we need to go and get this material. And she goes and buys this material, and then she waits for him to show up. Dude doesn't show up. Doesn't show up when he's supposed to show up. Days go by. Then he finally shows up. He's like, I'm here to work. She's pissed off, but she has no other option because she already bought the material. So he goes up to the roof, and he starts banging around on there and taking crap off and stuff like that. And now suddenly the roof is leaking in places that it wasn't leaking in before. But he's like, oh no, don't worry, I'm gonna take care of all of that. I'm just picking off all taking off all the old roofing right now, all the old tiling, and I'm gonna rebuild it and everything because I got to fix it. Okay. He's supposed to show up another day. Doesn't show up. Shows up the following day. All right. Guy comes back to her eventually and says that, okay, well, yes, I'm going to need more money. I need more materials and I need more money. And basically, it goes from 5,000 to 10,000 to 15,000, and eventually he never even finishes the job. This guy doesn't even know what he's doing, so she finds herself with a busted roof, a roof in worse shape than it was before, with all the tiles off, and now she has to go back and call one of those guys who quoted her 30,000 or 45,000 for the repair. The $30,000 guy is no longer available, all right, because he's booked. He's booked. And the guy that's charging $45,000, he's telling her that she's going to have to wait for repairs. She's going to have to wait because he's busy. All right. He's busy. And at the same time, he doesn't like being disrespected and he doesn't feel comfortable. And now she's begging and pleading and hollering and saying that there's no one else. And he comes over and now she's going to have to fork out that $45,000. Mr. Shadow Monk says, I'll keep walking. A lot of men will do that too. A lot of dudes will do that too. Let me go ahead and read this. Reggie Gamer says, so like the Dr. Blackjack manga character, he charges his patients based on their wealth. Poor people get his help for free, and the wealthiest get charged the most. The thing is that's not how it's going to end up happening with women. They're all going to get charged. They're either going to have to pay. If they can't pay, they're not getting anything for free. You think a man is going to go and help a woman out of the kindness of his heart the way they did back in the day? No. Why would a man help a woman do work for free or for a little bit of money when he has a bunch of other clients and he can charge them significantly more money? He can charge them so much money that he literally only has to work a few months out of the year. He can make his $200,000 in 3 months. His $100,000, $200,000 in 3 months. 3 months. And then from there he can go and spend time in the Philippines or whatever other country he so desires. Big Daddy said it perfectly. Men aren't broken. Men are sick of the it. They are sick of the it. Men are tired of it. They're sick and tired, and women don't comprehend that. But guess what? Nothing lasts forever. Let me read this comment from Big Daddy. It says, no matter what we do, they are pissed. It's pointless and pathetic and always deserves more and better. So what's the point? The point is to just stay the hell away from them. Leave them alone. Because guess what? When they are in the worst condition and they have no one, they're going to continue blaming men. There will never be any accountability. And that's basically all men can do, is just walk away, try to live the best life you can, and forget about them as much as you can. For those of you that got married and messed up your lives, you already know what I'm talking about. You will live with, you're going to live with extraordinary amounts of regret. You're going to live with extraordinary amounts of regret. A lot of you have lost so much money because of marriage. So much money, so much wealth gone because of marriage. And some of y'all don't learn your lesson until you get screwed over for a second time. Go get married a second time. This is hilarious. A person who lived their life as a woman for most of their life, and now they're arguing that men need to be more feminine. Men need to be feminine, not masculine. They need to be feminine and redefine what it means to be masculine. and only then will men be happy. What? Because then suddenly, when you have men who act like women are going to embrace them more. Oh gosh. Guys, what do you think about this? Because I find this to be a load of absolute nonsense, gibberish, and crazy talk. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications to never miss another video again, and like the video because it tells YouTube you're enjoying my content, you want to see more of it, so YouTube will show you more. But guys, what do you think about this, that women are furious, men live such lonely and boring lives? I want to hear your thoughts on this, guys. Let's talk about it more in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.